Hello, my name is Hudson. I'm a sophomore at Oakland University, and I am studying abroad in Japan this semester at Kansai Gaidai in Japan. And this is my personal project to keep track of everything I've done, everything I will do, and maybe inspire someone else to go travel abroad. Travel abroad. Travel abroad. Travel abroad, because I think it's a lot of fun. Hello, it is currently 12:30 on Thursday night. Thursday night, and this is day two of my daily stuff. So, having to do a quick mental recap because I didn't prepare at all for recording what happened yesterday. Yesterday was my Japanese class in the morning, and I think that was mostly it. I think that so. What we did yesterday in class was actually discussing more sentences, and we were adding. It was we did the last two rows of katakana, which I remember specifically, but then we were also just continuing to compile and just practice our already learned knowledge. This week, for the last two classes, have been review, and tomorrow is going to be another part of our review. I believe we have a test Monday. So, excuse me, I was actually given a review yesterday that I did today for tomorrow, and it's actually really interesting because of the way that it was formed. We were answering questions in reverse, and then we were also asked to fill out full sentences. So it was front and back. The back side was definitely harder than the front side, but it was a mix of katakana and hiragana characters. Katakana in terms of what was foreign, as it's used intentionally, with its intended use, and then hiragana was used to fill in the gaps everywhere else. We haven't learned kanji yet for more solid thoughts, so we've been using hiragana to fully spell out everything so far. But the first one was where is in London? What time is it? And then so the question was answered to begin with. It was goes in Juichi ji han des, which is it is 11:30 in the morning. Goes in this morning, and then Juichi 11 han is half, so it's 11 half. It's 11 o'clock and half. So then you have 11:30. We haven't done any more complex minute breakdowns yet, so Han is kind of our marker. But then in response to that, you have London wa ima, and then you have to fill out the rest of the question, and then the rest of it would have been nanjin desu ka, which is what jin time, and desu ka the question sentence. But what's interesting is that there's two ways to dictate time in the same way that there is to dictate. What was it? I just had it. Regardless, there's two ways to dictate time, which is like ima and then like ji. So ji is kind of like a clock, but you can also like you can say goji, which is 5 o'clock, and then you would specify gozen or gogo, which is goes in is morning, and then gogo is night. But you can replace a clock in the English language. You have like 5 o'clock with G, so go G 5G 5 o'clock. But then you can ask in the same form of the question, what is the o'clock? Basically, it's the closest kind of bastardization towards the English language. Just what o'clock is it? Like what o'clock is it now? Because the word would mean the same in the other question sentence. So what time is it? It is 5 o'clock, and you would dictate, not dictate. I keep using that word. You would specify morning and night, but then the time reference word stays the same, which is I think is interesting that you can use that the term G is such a versatile replacement. There's nothing quite like it in the English language. Um, in terms of that measurement scale. I guess you could have, like, we could argue that inches and meters are the same, but there's nothing that changes between those two words in that format like that. So you have like so it refers to now, telling time itself, and then questioning what time it is. It's very versatile. It's very very cool. And although the rest of the questions were kind of like that, and it was like, how old are you, or how old is this person specifically, because that's how it would mix the katakana and be a foreign name like Mary, which is spelled Mei, and then you draw out the hard vowel sounds. So May, Meari, long I sound. Mary, Mei, Mei, Meari. Um, the language is super super fascinating on its own. We had, what year are you in school? What's your phone number? Is your what is your major? And it would be like, what is your Takashi-san no senko wa wakeshi? Oh, sorry. Takashi-san no senko wa nan desu ka? Which is, what is your major? So Takashi-san, no, what is Takashi-san's major? So Takashi-san major, what is how the sentence is layered. And then it was, is this person Chinese? No, they are Korean. So you have to add the negative term to the sentence. Ie Chukoku Gokujin Janai this. And Janai is false. So if you say Janai this, so as mentioned before, this is kind of like the period, the statement part of the sentence, whereas this ka is the question part of the sentence. And words are used in replace of words, and inflection are used in replace of um, separating punctuation. And Janai is kind of, if des is it is, and deska is it, then Janai this would be it is not, in the same grammatical punctuative sentence structure. And you have like, sumimasen, how much is this? Ikura, kore wa ikura desu ka? Which is, kore wa, this what I have right here. Ikura, how much is it? And then I had to write out the price, which is 13,800 yen. 15,800 yen desu. I'm learning. And then you have to say like, okay, then I'll take this, which is ja kore o kudasai. Interesting enough, there are different ways to say please give me this. The two ways are kudasai and then onegaishimasu. Onegaishimasu is more of like a receiving, and kind of you're being graceful about it. Kudasai is not really more of a demand, but more of a please in a request form. As I've experienced so far, I could be very very wrong, but as I've experienced so for kudasai is more like a, thank you for giving this to me. Can I have it? Give it to me, kind of, not like a donne-moi kind of. Trying to explain it the best I can. It's an asking for something. It's a permissible kind of thank you instead of receiving. Outside again, like I said, was much much harder. Is, where is the post office? Which post office, one of the words that I just memorized today, partially because of this, because of just how funky it is in terms of spelling and length of the word. Yubin kyoku is post office. Post office. Yubin kyoku. It's, did I forget a letter? Yubin kyoku. No, I didn't. Okay. I had to check my spelling because I met that is something wrong. And then it was, sumimasen, jitensha wa aga wa ikura desu ka? Which is, excuse me, that bike over there, far from both speaker and listener, how much is it? And you have to say, that one over there, it's far from both of us, is this much. And then the person commentating on the price. So it'd be like, chotto takai desu ne, which is like, oh my gosh, isn't that a little expensive? Normally in the rest of the conversation that would follow, especially in our class, it would be like, okay, how much is that one? How much is that one? Well, I have this one at this price. Be like, okay, I'll take that, which would then be ja, sorewa, or korewa, or arewa, arewa, okudasai. So that right there, please give to me, or I'll take that in terms of a purchasing manner. Other one is a word that I absolutely despise because it always escapes me. Kyokasho is textbook or workbook. I'm not sure which. I'm pretty sure it's textbook because it has the textbook cover on the paper. So it could probably textbook. Kyokasho wa so kore wa kyokasho wa dare desu ka? Which is this textbook, this here. So this item close to me is a textbook. Whose is it? And then you have to say, それは, that item close to you, 私の、私の教科書です。ありがとうございます. Which is, that item close to you is a textbook. It is mine. Thank you. Return it, please. Like, thank you for finding it, whatever. And the other one, second to last one, is another one that I have a hard time with because there are two words that specify if you're choosing between two items, which is dochi and dore. Dore, it means like an item amongst these few. So I've done this example before. I'll do it again because I need to remember. Dochi is two items. You have dochi pen. There's two pens that you can choose from, two pencils that you can choose from, and you have to decide between the two. Dore is more than two. Anything more than two. You need to remember. But I always go to dochi because it sounds funky. It's always the first word I go to, like in terms of when we're practicing and such. The last two were one and the same, but it was a lot of fun because you guys have spelled the whole sentence. The only thing that they spelled for you was the person's name. So Yoshiko and then Hiroshi. And then you have to say Yoshiko's mother is a high school teacher, and then Hiroshi's father is a high school teacher too. And that combined our most recent word that we did, which is mo, and it combines two sentences in terms of saying also. So you would say Yoshiko's mother is a high school teacher, so Yoshiko-san no okasan wa koko no sensei desu. Yoshiko's mother is high school teacher. And then you would say in the same way, Hiroshi's no otosan mo instead of wa, because mo means it's connected to the previous sentence as a term also. So Hiroshi no otosan mo koko no sensei desu. Koko being high school, no sensei. No means, which I've said before and I'm wrong, no is not possessive. No is a connecting word between two nouns. So koko and sensei don't necessarily need to be together in that order, but no connects them that way. So it makes it, because I've mistaken before, it makes it possessive, but then it doesn't, it makes one noun possessive over another by connecting them. So possessive isn't the right word, it just means it connects them. So that was my homework for the day. I also had to do I had to copy more katakana because we did the last thing, and then I was answering more questions on my own, which was fitting for our review kind of theme for the week. That's a homework that I actually did today, but it was interesting that we got it all yesterday. So we got a lot at once. We got like 6 papers at once. I also have the page as to how to write my name in katakana, and it goes like this. It's probably gonna be in reverse, isn't it? It's gonna be mirrored. Yep, it's absolutely mirrored. But anyway, this is ha, and this is the to with the little dash marks above it, which makes it do. This is ha, do, sa. Right here, this figure right here, little stitch mark, and that one. And then this is n actually, and sa, so, and n look very, very similar. But it's in the same way that shi and tsu look similar, is that they're drawn at different angles and they start in different places. So you have so, and then you have so, and then and then Wattles. My last name is uh, Urezu. Watorezu is how it's like phonetically spelled, which is I think is kind of fun. But that's just my little 2 cents on my name. Katakana. Today, I did nothing afterwards. After class yesterday, I basically came home and just nothing. I did cook. That's a lie. I cooked. I cooked egg fried rice, which was actually pretty tasty, and I ate a lot of goldfish. um, Today I had my my cuisine class actually instead of Tuesday. Not just having it, not at all. And we talked about kind of like seasonality of stuff. We talked about um, this the courses at which things go for kaiseki meals, and then the word that escapes me, but kaiseki is kind of like traditional European dining with courses and such, and then kaiseki has a subset that's all vegetarian. That name escapes me. Learn about the order of that and how stuff works. Um, and just kind of other stuff. Our professor is super awesome, but he gets distracted easily and goes on tangents about stuff. But also, people will ask him questions all the time, so I don't blame him. After that, I hung out with some friends of mine. I met some new people. I got lunch. I got a nice little noodle bowl thing from a 7-Eleven on campus. It had noodles, it had cabbage, it had some really nice flavored chicken with another additional dressing on top. They gave me a little bowl of dressing, which was super kind of nasty. It tasted like bitter orange. It looked like what you'd put on orange chicken, and I would know because I made orange chicken. But it tasted nothing like it, and it was super sour and super bitter, and it was kind of gross. And I was afraid that it would make everything taste really bad because the chicken tasted really good. I don't really like cold chicken all that much, but I actually really like that cold chicken. I digress. I ate everything but the weird juice. So, and then I got myself a bottle of water. My ghost class, we learned about, uh, last time we learned about one dude, and we kind of tapered off on him at the end of, on Tuesday. So we came back to him, and he was the guy who tried to modernize Japan in terms of yokai. And he would go and he would tell these grand stories, and then he would go about through the other half of his lecture and explain why they were wrong, and he would debunk them, which I think is super, super cool. You'd actually be able to hear this cultural ghost story, and then you learn the science behind it, and you understand why it was told and the history behind it, which I think is super cool. The reason why he was doing it was a little, not like industrialization, but it was, I get why he did it, but the setting behind it was still pretty cool. 16 years before this guy as I said died, another guy was born, and he actually went to this guy's lectures and he heard him talk. But then he got worried that in the modernization process, they would lose their culture and their heritage, and he would travel over the prefectures, and he would listen to other stories, and then he would tell them in his own way, and he would preserve them instead of trying to like dissuade people from them. He would say, okay, these are good stories, and there are reasons behind them. Some of them don't have reasons behind them. Went over a couple of them today where some dude shot a mountain woman, just kaplow, and then took a lock of her hair to just prove that he did it. Another mountain man came by, stole the locket of hair, and then walked away. We don't know what happened to the shooter. We don't know what happened to any of them. It's just the story ended. That was it. Some of them have no purpose. Some of them, well, no clear purpose aside from don't shoot people. But I thought that was a given before the story, so couldn't tell you. But regardless, some of them don't have a point. Some of them don't have a plot. They're just stories passed between one person to another. Maybe they did have a plot, and someone wasn't paying attention at the rules when they played telephone. Whatever the case may be, some of the stories are just funky, but he published them anyways to preserve the storytelling idea and the storytelling history and the culture of rural Japan, which I think is cool. Um, After which the class ended, I came back here. I heated up. I had made enough egg fried rice for 2 meals, so I got another one today, and I ate the rest of it. And I've had goldfish ever since because I have so much. and it's going to be gone in a shorter amount of time than it should be. It'll be fine. I was going to do homework for my Eastern medicine class, but I decided against it. Not in the reason that I didn't want to, but in the sense that I couldn't, because our mind map is going to be made in class tomorrow as we watch a movie. Most likely documentary. Most likely a documentary. I believe I remember it was like the German something. It's subbed in German. I don't remember. I think it's a nonfiction movie. I don't recall. He gave us a brief rundown of it last week, but it's been a week, and that class somewhat bugs me. So my eyes may have glazed over. I feel really bad for not liking that class. I really, really do. I genuinely feel bad for not liking that class. But then on the other hand, I don't feel any remorse at all because I can't stand sociology. I don't care if you're a sociologist. Really, really don't. That's your profession. Sure, whatever. To each their own. Great. But the the math doesn't math when it comes to it because it's and especially in the way that my professor teaches it now. It's a way that I get the system. I understand the logic behind it. It's demographics. It's culture. It's the science behind this. It's the social science. It's the social science. I get that. That doesn't bother me. But what does bother me is how it's approached in this class. There are some things that don't need to be discussed in that light, especially in the way that we're discussing it right now. Eastern Health and Medicine was the title of the class. The title of the class. So explain to me why we have touched base on more adult education every time. We're not in a sex ed class. We really, really aren't. And it just irks me that the very, very small, it's a very, very small demographic, a very, very small niche of logic and knowledge when it comes to Eastern medicine and healthcare. You can have your plug. I really don't care. But please, please, make it make sense. Please. Last class, we literally discussed. He literally made the relation between procreation and food. How that makes sense? You tell me. You tell me. I don't know what the baby making process has to do with my cheeseburger, but leave it out of it. I don't want to think of the birds and the bees while I'm eating fries. I don't want to think of. There are a lot of euphemisms. I don't want to think about that when I'm eating. So, that's just me. And that's my approach to that class. And I've kind of checked out, but it's an easy A, so I haven't fully checked out. But here we are in the middle. That's my rant. I've had a rant on Japanese language, and I've had a rant on my opinion on sociology. Not even sociology. My full rant on sociology is a little more mean. But you know what? It'll be fine. That's another video. It's a separate channel. Listen to the blonde kid talk about life. That'll be yeah. Watch that one get more subscribers than this channel. Irony. That's what it would be. Irony. But regardless, it is. Why do I still have the Chicago clock on my laptop? Almost 11. It's 1 o'clock. Okay. Thank you for listening. Thanks for stopping by. I think that's it. I'm good. tomorrow, and then Saturday I'll record again. Maybe I'll get someone else to come talk with me on Saturday. Who knows? I've said it before, and maybe it'll happen. I have two people in mind that I can bring on and bring in, but it's in terms of when and availability. So, which I both refer to when, but still. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening to me talk about two things that really, really don't affect your life in the slightest, just mine. That's it. Have a good night. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Arigato.